All right, this is going to hit home for you. The rest of the state, some folks had some mask orders. Some folks like Butler County, our presiding commissioner said, we're not doing it. Put the boot right on the throat of government. Said you live your life how you want. The city, different lifestyle. People live closer together, different realities. What is the best way that you could see? The state legislature is going to visit this. Right. What's the best way the state legislature could come up with? Because they're going to pass something. I think that's pretty clear. Right. What's the best end result of this?
Yeah, I think the start is you need to listen to your local health directors and your health commissioners, right? And the experts that live and breathe in these communities. So I feel like the first stop has to be, there's likely going to be some pushback from those local officials, depending on which way this goes. And I think that ought to be paid attention to.
The question I would have for you would be, you got to see the city and the county's response. Which one would you prefer? I mean, the second shutdown was only done by the county, not the city.
The second shutdown was in effect to the rising case numbers we were seeing. Yeah. It was a direct result of the number of cases coming in, a lot of them from rural areas where the restrictions were less strenuous. And the hospitals became overwhelmed. A lot of people were being turned away. The resources were being overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So we had to shut down a second time. And I've been grateful that we have an MD who has been making those decisions. When this first broke out, I thought, how lucky are we to have an MD making these decisions? We have someone in the medical field who respects doctors, who respects science, mm-hmm. making these decisions.
You know, Tom Hannegan, you hear, if you just come to Jeff City, you would think everybody disagrees with Sam Page. But there's a lot of folks. I mean, he got reelected by a large margin. Folks in St. Louis County kind of like the government giving orders like this.
Well, I want a disclaimer first, Scott. I actually am the local government chairperson mm-hmm. on the House side. So get that disclaimer out first. So I like local control, and I just want to say that up front. There's a wise hillbilly, you might know him, Scott, that has a motto saying that we like local control until we don't like local control.
Republicans hate local control. That's been very well established.
So, I'm one of those people that do like local control. I think we just need to be really careful about who's getting that local control. Yeah. We need to make sure that there's accountability and transparency. I think a lot of the argument is who has that local control, and let's keep it to the elected officials because they have to get reelected, and so they have a response to the people and their constituents.
Looks like the godfather of Missouri Republican, Steve Ellman, pretty well threaded the needle. I mean, he did a few things, but for the most part, I think his constituents probably liked his response. It was pretty, live your life, I'm going to educate you, educate you, but you're grown-ups, make your own choices.
Right, and a lot of people didn't know what this pandemic was going to do or how it looked. It was new to everybody. So let's have a little grace period to learn and stuff and go from there. People did make mistakes, but then I think we get back to, okay, what worked, what didn't work. Let's look at the statistics and let's be adults about it. So there's room to grow and change. But, again, I go back to local control probably is the best format and best way to go.
Greg Keller, it looked to me like there were some vocal St. Louis County Republicans, yourself amongst them, probably people retweeting you, that didn't like any of the shutdowns, kind of wanted to have like the Vince Lampe model. You're a grown-up, make good choices. But I think people in the county were pretty accepting of things until the second shutdown. I saw the spike come in the pushback in the St. Louis County when the city didn't go along. I thought that was a moment where things kind of turned a little.
Well, I think following the directions of local health authorities is all fine and well, so long as those local health authorities actually know what the heck they're talking about. And what we've seen with Sam Page and Lisa Clancy is that they have no idea what they are doing. When you rank St. Louis, every county in the state of Missouri, by COVID deaths per capita, you know where St. Louis County comes in under Sam Page? 8th from the bottom. So literally hundreds of St. Louis Countyans have died as a result of Sam Page and Lisa Clancy's COVID policies, and yet they're running all over the state trying to tell other people in rural counties how they should be dealing with COVID. Give me a break.
Yeah, I doubt that dog hunts.
I'm sorry, I bet you it hunts with the hundreds of people who come from families of someone who's dead, which wouldn't be the case had they lived in another county.
Let me ask you this. This is my sizable hillbilly gut intuition. I think that you're going to see, when this is all over, when you count the data, you're going to see urban areas that did a bunch of restriction and precaution, which probably helps some, be pretty much in line with rural areas because you're so much closer together. That's going to offset what you did with masks and stuff. And rural folks being more spaced out, not having restrictions, I'll bet you there's not a lot of difference in the day. You think?
I think at the end of the day, I think clearly the data at this point is that more people have died in St. Louis County than virtually anywhere else in the entire state of Missouri. Look at the counties that neighbor St. Louis County. St. Louis City, fewer deaths. Jefferson County, fewer deaths.
Well, fewer people, though,
Lincoln
right?
County, fewer deaths. But population density is no longer considered one of the top reasons for COVID spread and COVID death. Jackson County, better than St. Louis County. I think what St. Louis Countyans want to see is they want to see people actually responding to data. What we learned months ago is that restaurants are not huge vectors of COVID transmission and spread, and yet Sam Page and Lisa Clancy are out there absolutely crushing the entire downtown Clayton business area, just as a random example.